It's good to be here this morning. Just love being in the family here. So this morning, first thing we're going to do, we're going to release the children. Thank you. New year, new habits, something like that. Trying, That's what, one in a row now, I think. So, all good. So with that, we have invited Randall McNair to come up and share his testimony. We heard it a little bit at the men's sort of camping trip, I guess it was. Anyway, we enjoyed hearing about what God has been doing in his heart. So we invited him to share this morning. So Randall, would you mind coming on up and sharing with us?
That's where it is. Okay, I'm pretty overwhelmed with this because I'm telling you, I was so touched this morning by everything that's happened here this morning. I really have been. John asked me to do this after I shared it at a band of brothers spontaneously one morning, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And since then I've been, just trying to say, what can I say, what can I do that's going to make this more impactful? Well, it's not up to me. I just got to tell my story. That's it. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not a preacher, but I wanted to say, they always tell you, what's your elevator story? Can you give them the elevator hit? And I said, but this elevator is going to go to the 102nd floor. So hang on. Anyway, a little bit of that. I got some notes, but I don't know if I'm going to hang in there with those or not. First of all, I just want to say that what happened to me 8.5 years ago was really profound. It changed me. It changed my life. It changed some other people's lives, I think. Refocused on what's important in my life and other people's lives. And so I just want to let me say a little quick prayer, and I just want to say, Lord, that Heavenly Father, that I owe my life to you, and you hold me in your hands, Lord, and whatever I say, Lord, I want it to be encouraging and impactful for you and your glory, and not for me. And I don't want this to offend anyone or bring back memories of anyone that's lost loved ones and things like that, Lord. But just we just trust you, and we believe in you, Lord, and we just give our lives to you, Lord, and we just thank you in Jesus' name. Short story. 8.5 years ago, I went to play some basketball up at, ironically named New Hope Gym, and John Wagner was with me, and so we'd been playing a while. I'd played several times. I just got back from Georgia a year ago, and we'd been playing some ball, and so got there, started warming up a little bit, and then started the first game, just getting going. Hadn't even really broken a sweat. Started having chest pain. I just thought, well, I'll just step over the side. It'll be fine. Maybe I just wasn't ready to go. And so that wasn't the case. I stepped out on the kind of porch of that gym, took a couple deep breaths, went back inside, and John kind of got me out of the corner of his eye thinking, he said, "Are you okay?" And I go, "No, not okay." And so I go up, and there's a little stage there, and I kind of lay down on the stage, I think, and the other guys are like, "Oh man, this guy's going to make the game bad now," So anyway, So I need some help, But the thing is, the rescue squad, as you know, at New Hope is on the same parking lot, okay? And the squad's there, and I'm not out on a call, okay? So within just a few minutes, they're over there working me up. They get an IV in me. They start getting my blood. They start giving me nitroglycerin. They start just treating me right away. Very, very good medical care. But the pain's not going anywhere. So I'm just going, oh man, this is real. And so they get me in the ambulance, and I go, kind of flying down to then AMC. And I don't remember much of that ride because I'm starting to get morphine, and then at that point, and I'm saying, and then that's when I started saying, the first word that came out of my mouth was Jesus. I said, okay, Jesus, this is it, and so I just kept thinking about that. And on the way in, I get there and I think, well, they're going to get me treated. I'm going to be all right. I got oxygen on now and stuff. So I roll in. You see the lights, like those lights. You're going in on the stretcher and hear the lights flat, kind of going by you. And I'll roll in, and there's a doctor there, ER doctor named Dr. Cox. Thank the Lord for him. And he hooks me up to the monitors, and the nurses are kind of circling around, and I'm going, oh, Jesus, oh, Jesus. and a couple of them said, okay, we know about Jesus. But I'm saying, I just keep saying, oh, I'm Jesus. I'm not going to quit now, baby. So anyway, so they just get me hooked up to the monitors, and the last thing I hear Dr. Cox say is, we're going to have to shock this. So then the lights went out. So I was gone. And there they coded me. They did really nice CPR, I think, and then shocked me twice, and brought me back. At that point, I don't know how long it took, but the first thing I saw was my son George standing there by me, and we started saying our goodbyes. I said, I'm gonna tear up. Good grief. Hang on. I said, well, buddy, I said, I'm proud of you, and I want you to take care of your mama and things like that. I don't remember all the words, but I talked to him a few days ago, and we kind of reviewed this. He said, yeah, you're right on with that. That's exactly what you did. He said, you thought you were going, buddy. So, I did. At that moment, I thought, this is it. I'm going to go see Jesus. What's it going to be like? And I'm like, and I wasn't thinking about what I had to do tomorrow. I wasn't thinking about any, sports games or anything like that I like to play. I wasn't thinking about, what the financial situations were. I wasn't thinking about anything. But I'm going to walk through that door right now, and I'm going to see Jesus, and I'm going to see what's it going to be like. And the songs this morning about, have just so much just keyed into everything. And actually, the first song we sang was my dad's favorite song. And I'm like, man, and I'm starting tearing up over here. I'm like, come on, give me a break. But that's so so at that point they get me back, and I'm talking to George, and thinking I'm going to go, and then Barbara comes in, and she's like, had been told I had some chest pain. She walks into, he's leaving, and that kind of thing. So, but they took me to the cath lab, and the next morning, after I had survived that, and I have no recall of that at all. Of course, I was medicated, but I wake up in ICU. And again, I had, I'm sitting there in a hospital gown, nobody's around, have no wallet, no nothing, I'm just sitting around. Here I am, man. It's just me and you, Lord, and here I am in ICU. So it really got me back to what's important. And so I'd just like to say a couple things about that, and just the impact it's had on me. Now, I can't say that, since that time, it took me a while to really focus on what the deal is, as far as what that means, things that are important. Because you really, after that point, I wasn't exactly ready to go out and run or, anything again. I had to work my way back physically. And then I think I've been working myself, spiritually too. Since then, I've just had a heightened awareness of spiritual things, but that doesn't mean I'm spiritual. I don't mean anything like, that I've got it all figured out. It just means that I just have a more sense of the importance of the spiritual things in my life. I know that when I was lying there, looking up at George and before he got there, I think I just felt like that I was totally dependent. I was totally dependent at that time on the Lord. And the next heartbeat, was it going to come or not? I didn't know. Okay? I just can't even describe that total feeling I had about the dependence I had. But that is what we sang about. Christ did everything for us. And I listened to a preacher, his name's Vodi Bakum a lot. He said it kind of this way. He said, when that day comes, and that day will come for me. It wasn't on August 11th, 2014, but it's coming. Okay, when I'm going to stand there, and the Lord's not going to say, okay, well, I sent Jesus. He did a great job. He did everything. But boy, that 10% you did, Randall, that made the difference. It ain't going to be that. It's not going to be that way, right? I mean, it's going to be, Jesus did it all. All. And what we have is our faith in Him. Jesus' faith was perfect. When Jesus went to the cross, and I hadn't checked this thought with any theologians, but I believe this to be true, that when Jesus was on that cross and He said, Father, why have you forsaken me? I think He had to release all His divinity and His trust and faith into the Father at that point, and he fell into His arms with total, absolute giving up His divinity, falling into the arms of the Father. And that's one thing I've always thought about. When I was not a Christian, I always thought, well, Jesus, He went to the cross. He knew He was going to just come out of the grave, and what's the big deal? But I think He had to give it up. He had to give it up, and that's what we have to. We have to give it up. And do I give it up all the time? No, I don't. But what can we do? Because we're believers, most of us here. And if you aren't a believer, you need to be a believer. Because there is no other hope. I mean, what the world has to offer you is a bunch of chaos and a bunch of crazy ideas that come and go. But Jesus, like we sang, the ancient words are going to be there, and they're going to be there. So what can we do? First, we just need to believe. We need to believe because in Romans it says that it's a general revelation. We all know there's a God. I mean, you can deny it, but there's a God. He made the heavens and the earth. It's apparent in the heavens. But that's a realization of God, but that's not a saving relationship with God. You have to have faith in God. And where do you find out about God? Well, you got to read the Word. So I just think that we have to get in the Word. And I remember when I was in medical school, we were overwhelmed with literature and books. And as a joke, we'd go, okay, there's nothing in here, and it's all in here. Let's just do like this, and there'll be osmosis, and it'll just, But it just never worked that way, right? It never worked for me that way. And so we have to open the book and read it. And I'm not a great memorizer of Scripture. I just never has been able to do that very well. But I remember the more I read and I get in a situation, I remember what God said about that. I might not know it exactly, but I know the more I read, I know what His will is. And a lot of times we say, well, what's the will of God in this situation? Well, He tells you right here in the Word, right? I mean, you read the Word, His will is apparent. The sovereign will, where some people survive heart attacks and other people don't survive them, that's God's sovereign will. And we don't tap into that. In fact, it's probably not even in our business, but it's His will. It's the way God is, because He created everything. He has the right to do it, and it's good. And it might not seem good at the time, but that's the will. But the will of things that we need to conduct our lives and things. That knowledge is by reading the Word, and then just live a thankful life with the people around you, your circle. And you might think, well, I don't have any friends. I just got a couple of friends. But look at this circle right here. I have a relationship with most people in here to some degree. That's a little bit of my circle. My circle, others, my family, people I come in contact with, and then develop a relationship with. Develop relationships with people. I had a friend that I used to work with. We used to joke around, and we'd be like a bad day or something, and we'd be moping around. He would say, if you can't be thankful about something, just to be thankful about this. Just be thankful blue jays aren't 6 feet tall. And he said, after that, you'll find other things to be thankful for.
There's good wisdom in that. Never really thought about that, but you can only go up from there, really. It's 6 foot tall blue jay. That'd wreck my day. Thank you very much for that, Randall. I do appreciate that, and kind of the perspective that what really is important. And when I heard you speak before, that resonates with me. What is really important? I can worry about all the stupid stuff of life all day long, but at the end of the day, what's really important? Thank you for that. Let's see here. I had something I had been thinking about, and it's one of the little bit of a jungle cruise here, but I'll make it short. Some of you may know, I have a thing for old trucks and cars and motorcycles and things, and I love that stuff. But I like the restoration process. I've got an old '56 Ford. That thing looks like it's. I think there was a family of raccoons that had been living in it at some point. But my point is, the restoration process there required the thing to be completely taken apart and cut a lot of sheet metal out of it and things like that. And it's a painful process, very long process, but it's all about the second chance. It's the redemptive quality of the vehicle itself. Now, that's just a truck, but our lives, I notice in my life, there's that process. There's a lot of damage that I've occurred in my life, or damage that the world generally has occurred in my life, and God's all about second chances. His redemptive work to take me back down to where I need to be, cut out old sheet metal, weld in new pieces. It's a painful process. There have been a lot of things in my life that kind of winds up being painful, and maybe some of you experienced this too. Let's be real, probably everybody's experienced that, right? If you're in that, it's okay. Take joy in knowing that God is working on you. You are worth the effort that God is putting into that, and He will be glorified in that. So I like the restoration process, because just there's an intimacy that you kind of develop with the machine, and I think even better than that, the intimacy that God develops with us as we go through that step-by-step process. So if you're feeling like you're deflated, you got some dents, maybe some rust holes, and that's God is doing good stuff there too. Some other important business. There's some kids' mittens we have found. We have no idea whose they are. So if you're looking for some mittens, we have some. I'm sorry, they're gloves. So the technical difference here is they have fingers then? Is that what Nailed it. Okay, they're not mittens, they're gloves, but if you lost them, we got them. Same thing with a watch. There was a watch lost last week. Is it digital or is it analog? We could go. This is a rabbit hole. Anyway, if you've lost some stuff, we didn't put it in the lost and found for the school. Maryland has it, so if you're looking for it, we have that. Let's see, do we have any first-time visitors here? Luke, I'm kind of looking at you. It's not a first time for Riley, but.
Yeah, this is my girlfriend Riley. She's going to do her best to run out of here as quickly as she can.
Welcome, Riley. It's good to have you here. Any other first-time visitors?
So I was going to Williamsburg
Okay.
last spring, and I was coming back to New Jersey, and I saw the American Shakespeare Center.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
So I said, oh, wow, that'll be lovely. So I went to see Romeo and Juliet. And I came out, I realized that I couldn't remember where I parked my car. I don't know if you know what parking is like in the States.
It's not amazing. We can leave it there, yeah.
At that time, Beverly Avenue was closing at 4 o'clock for the restaurants.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So eventually I found my car. It was in an alley, and it hadn't been illegally towed. So consequently, they never, found it, but the police helped me find it. And in the meantime, I met a Marine, and he had a lot of PTSD issues, and I'm a psychiatric nurse, so we got together. And in this whole process, we kept coming back to this church every time we'd come back to Stanford.
Wonderful.
And visit. And something about the way you all love each other and the way that you testify and the way that you teach. His religion is Seventh-day Advent. Every time I go there, man, they talk about money a lot. I mean a lot. It's like a half an hour worth of did you give your 10%. But anyway, I try to respect his going on the Sabbath, but he really likes his church.
Great.
And we pray together for his...
And what's his name?
His name is Michael.
Michael.
Michael, for
We can
his
pray for him.
recovery. He was in Iraq, and he was exposed to sarin gas. So they don't know how long that will affect him or what the final outcome of that
Gotcha.
will be. So he has some health issues.
Gotcha.
The reason why he's not here today.
Gotcha. And your name?
My name is Nancy.
Hi. All right, Nancy.
Hi.
Wonderful.
But
Thank you.
and you remember the
Good. Well, we're glad you're here this morning.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Good. Excellent. Well, welcome. Welcome. Well, I believe we'll go ahead and take a brief 5-minute. That's a short 5 minutes as opposed to a long. We're going to try to stick to 5 minutes. How about that? And come on back for John's teaching. So.
Got you on the timer.